Hello and welcome to the Hurricane Spectacular episode of Under the Bridge.
I don't know if spectacular is the right word for the current situation.
Well, you know what? If I don't come up with some positive way to spin it, Greg, I'm going to lose my gosh darn mind.
That is fair.
I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg.
And stuff happened this week, as it always does.
Indeed.
The never-ending cycle.
Yes.
I got a couple little bits of game news.
Mm-hmm.
We have our newest Multiversus character.
Oh,
It's
God.
Rick Sanchez.
Okay, sure.
He's playable as of today, September 26th.
Okay.
And he can summon Meeseeks.
Alright. For some strange reason, I feel like that's not the absolute craziest thing they could have added to the game, so hey, that works.
It's gonna take a lot to top LeBron James, I think.
Oh, I feel like it would take a lot to top both him and Hugh Neutron.
Hugh Neutron's not in Multiversus.
Oh, shit, I'm getting mixed up with Nickelodeon.
You thought they were adding Rick Sanchez to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl?
I would actually buy the game if they did.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
Alright.
And I can say that because I played the Nickelodeon game and I did not care for it.
Oh boy. Fun reminder, Rick and Morty Season 6 is currently ongoing, and I still have to watch Seasons 4 and 5.
There's 6 seasons of it now?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right? When did that happen?
For real, okay.
Insanity.
Hmm.
And my other bit of game news...
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Entertainment and Motive Studio are teaming up for an Iron Man game.
Oh, like EA Motive?
EA Motive.
Huh. For whatever reason, I did not have EA lined up as making any Marvel anything, so that's kind of a surprise.
Yeah. Especially after the, some of the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Per their website, the game will feature an original narrative that taps into the rich history of Iron Man, channeling the complexity, charisma, and creative genius of Tony Stark and enabling players to feel what it's like to truly play as Iron Man.
So they're giving players the ability to play as a childish, overly wealthy narcissist?
And get drunk and pee in your suit?
Hell yeah.
Only if it's VR will I be interested in that concept.
Well, do we get to adopt a boy from Queens that has spider powers as well?
There's no mention of that in this release.
Oh, well.
Indeed. So that's exciting. We're also, and I can't believe I missed this during the D23 thing, because I know I was aware of it, I just didn't say it. We're getting that Black Panther Captain America World War II game with Cap and T'Challa's granddad. So, it's a nice day to have a bunch of not ensemble games.
I feel like I should hate that sentence, but I am eagerly curious about that.
Right? Because it's not Spider-Man, it's not Avengers, and it's, I don't know.
Well, no, it's just the thing of T'Challa, World War II, not exactly what I had picked, although if it takes
place...
place...
it's his grandfather, it's not T'Challa.
Ah, fair enough. Granted, if it's the Black Panther in the North Africa campaign, then yeah, I am all for that.
So that's neat. I'm glad they're expanding their profiles a little bit to more than just team-up games and Spider-Man. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have been anyway, but
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Can we get a Daredevil open world sandbox?
How would that work?
Well, just look at it this way. You wouldn't have to waste time with a bunch of graphics making the city skyline look realistic. You could just put it in radar vision.
I could see them doing a Daredevil game, but have it be Persona. With the whole thing of, you playing as Matt Murdock, the lawyer, by day, and then you go and kick people's asses at night.
Yo, you know what? Daredevil visual novel.
Oh yeah, that too.
Do it like Ace Attorney. Boom! This is such a good idea. I hate it.
I was like, you're so excited. It's like, oh, never mind.
Anyways, I'm moving on to film and film-adjacent stuff.
Alrighty.
James Earl Jones is officially retiring from voicing Darth Vader.
Now, is he retiring in general, or just from voicing Darth Vader?
Seems like Darth Vader.
Okay, I wonder why specifically Darth Vader.
Presumably because Disney wants to use Darth Vader in a lot of shit.
Fair.
And he has signed off on artificial intelligence synthetic speech being used to recreate his voice.
Okay, I was getting ready to say, I could have sworn I saw something ages ago that he actually owns the rights to Darth Vader's voice. Or something along those lines. Yeah. Okay, well hey, if he's making a decent paycheck especially off of voicing one of the most legendary fictional characters ever created, then hey, good for him.
Yeah, more power to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that they use that for Obi-Wan, so... At least we know it works.
To be fair, I haven't really heard, well, for what I've experienced so far, I haven't really heard or come across anything that's like a bad Darth Vader. There are definitely ones where it's like, you hear him talk, and even though the cadence is about the same, you can very clearly tell it's not James Earl Jones, but to the credit, I have yet to hear a bad official Darth Vader voice. Doesn't mean it can't happen, though.
Yeah, it's like most Jokers. You have to try to fuck up the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it even more astounding when you get people like Jared Leto and whoever voiced him in Young Justice.
It's like, you've done it. You've done the impossible.
You made a shitty Joker. My God. They said it couldn't be done.
And it was done, unfortunately.
But like the theme song of Drake and Josh, you found a way. I don't know where that came from.
I was to say, that's a callback I was not at all ready for.
But I'm standing by it. The joke, not Drake Bell.
No, God, no.
Just felt I had to specify there. We're getting another Cloverfield movie.
Okay.
Yeah. They're keeping it secret.
Of course they are. I mean, granted, it's been a while since I've seen any of the Cloverfields, but I'm not surprised that they're keeping it secret.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do this time now that the previous Cloverfield movie ended up revealing why all this stuff is happening. Because it was all particle accelerator BS. Yeah, dimensions are wrong, space is screwy, time is warped. That sort of thing.
I feel like that's one of those things where that should be more interesting than it is.
Yeah, probably, but this is where we are. Either way, still probably gonna see this one. It's actually a little bit interesting. This is the first time that they've announced something as a Cloverfield movie.
What do you mean? Do they usually give small hints at something but don't explicitly say it until it's, like, about to come out?
Yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane and Cloverfield Paradox weren't actually shown to be Cloverfield movies until their trailers came out, because they originally had different titles.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wonder if that means they're getting more of a plan, or if it means they have less of a plan. Like, is it now, okay, we figured out what we're doing with Cloverfield, or is it, this has been confusing so far, screw it, let's just tell them we're making Cloverfield this time.
Oh, I figured it'd be something where it's like, they make a movie, and it's like, alright, this is gonna be a spin-off, this is not gonna be connected at all, and then, like, at a certain point, it's like, fuck it. Let's make it part of Cloverfield.
Yeah, who knows? Hard to tell. But I guess we'll find out whenever we get a trailer.
Right.
I forget, did you see the first Nun?
I'm pretty sure I did. I just don't remember a lot of it.
Well, we're getting a sequel, and Storm Reid is the lead actress.
Okay.
Also, side note, she is in so many things, and I did not realize.
So I actually did look her up beforehand, and I know I've seen you in a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I did not realize until I looked it up, but she's the daughter in The Invisible Man. She's the main character of A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, really?
She's Bloodsport's daughter in The Suicide Squad.
Wow, she has some range in her resume, that's for sure.
Right? My God.
Well, good for her.
I feel so bad that I've never noticed this before.
She was the main character in A Wrinkle in Time. That is amazing.
We made so much fun of that movie. How did we not notice? I guess we were too busy making fun of everything else in the movie.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot to make fun of in the movie. There's a lot of very distracting things in the movie to make fun of.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
Anyways, it's releasing September 8th, 2023. We don't know much about it, but it is said to be set in the 1950s.
Okay. Let's get my attention, and just on the time period.
I'm just glad we're getting more Conjuring stuff. Because it's not the best series of horror films, but it's one of those ones where some of them are pretty damn good, and even the bad ones are still... Well, okay, La Llorona was pretty bad. Apparently, they can't even really make up their minds about whether that is one or not. Even though Annabelle's in it, and one of the characters is reprising a role, the director has said it is not one, because it doesn't have any of the production team for the main Conjuring movies on it.
Do you think that was something said out of respect for the team?
I have no idea. Studio politics are weird to me.
Fair.
It's like, if it's got characters in common and elements in common, it's part of that thing.
Yeah, it might not be directly, like, breaking off from it, but it's part of that universe.
Yeah. But I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll make a Curse of La Llorona 2 and we'll get some clarity. Who, man? Did you know Tom Hardy does Jiu-Jitsu?
No. I did not. But I can see it. I can 100% see it, in all honesty.
Well, get ready for a real surprise, because he entered the 2022 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Open Championship and ultimately ended up winning.
No kidding. Good for him.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right. Definitely not on my 2022 bingo card, but I am happy for him.
Tom Hardy doing Jiu-Jitsu.
And winning at Jiu-Jitsu.
Crazy. You think Venom told him to? Eddie. We have to flip this guy, Eddie.
Eddie. Beat the shit out of these guys, Eddie.
Venom, what are you talking about? We're going to be the best Jiu-Jitsuers ever. I'm just blazing through this news.
I mean,
oh man.
Honestly, Tom Hardy winning is definitely the most surprising thing.
Yeah, I probably should have ended with that one, but...
Hey, what can you do?
We now have Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer tapped to write the script for Fantastic Four.
I know I've heard Jeff Kaplan's name before.
That's an excellent question. That wasn't a question.
I'm pretty sure I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've heard his name before.
No relation to the Blizzard guy.
Okay. What? Oh, thank God, actually.
Yeah. No relation to the former VP of Blizzard.
Okay.
That might be where you've heard that name before.
You know what? It probably is.
Yeah.
I am very glad that is not the same person.
No. Because if it was, start worrying for any prospective actress playing Sue Storm.
Right.
That's a poor joke, but I'm gonna stick with it.
It's a poor joke, but it's not a wrong joke.
Oh, it's very wrong. It's just not incorrect. Hoo boy. It's also said that now that the script is being written, Feige and Matt Shakman, the director, are turning their focus on finding actors. So, perhaps we will get some news next Comic-Con.
Well, here's to hoping.
Or perhaps the next D23. Who knows? Boy, what an absolute cycle.
As far as?
Comic-Con was just 2 months ago, and D23 was, a month ago? No, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm already waiting for the next one. I hate me.
I mean, it's part of the passion, or something.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's like what car shows used to be for me, so I get it.
Somewhat MCU adjacent, and this one was not on the list, but I'm including it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Fest, an annual film festival in Austin, Texas, had surprise first screenings of Werewolf by Night.
Oh, really?
And the first reactions is good.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah, obviously all first reactions should be taken with a grain of salt, This one, I think, is maybe a little more convincing because it's not like this was a press event that they knew what they were getting into beforehand, so they're predisposed to say nice things because it makes them more likely to get invited back.
Yeah, especially since if it's a surprise thing, then they're just like showing it to people like completely cold. Then
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, granted, I can understand why there might be a little bit of skepticism because it's still an event for fans of
Film and such.
the company. Yeah, but if it's still cold, so if people are responding very positively towards it, then I would still say that's a good sign of things to come.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a love letter to 30s and 40s horror.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of monsters in it, which, I'm so excited, I can't wait!
Still don't get how this is I know this is a Marvel thing, but with the whole setup of it, it's like, there's a part of my brain that just can't believe it, I guess.
Well, now that I'm doing Poorly Explained Comics as a little side series, maybe I can bring you up to speed on Werewolf by Night that way.
Possibly.
Obligatory plug for my own stuff. On my own stuff. I'm so good! I'm so good at plugs. And so bad at every other aspect of content.
Aww.
Moving on from my own self-deprecation. Bros is not premiering in any Middle Eastern markets.
I don't get how this is news. I know that sounds kind of mean, but it's one of those things where I saw that on my feed, it's like, no shit?
Oh, it's not. It's news. It's just not surprising.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it's like, Bros is not coming. It's not coming to the Middle East. So it's like, okay, is there a report saying that water isn't wet? Like, did that change too?
It's rather like a hurricane coming to Florida. It's still news when it happens. It's just not surprising.
Right. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Say no more.
Say no more. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where, especially given like a lot of the crazy like backlash it's happening for even like the most minor inclusions of homosexuality in movies over the past few Eternals. It's like one kiss. Reid!
Pull the kiss. No. Then the movie doesn't premiere. That's fine.
Yeah, it's like okay.
I really still wish that the sex scene had been Phastos and his husband instead of Cersei and Icarus.
I do too, but only because it would be the thing. Like, the original sex scene was one where I still make the joke of, like, I feel so bad for the parents who are just like, oh, a Marvel
yeah,
movie.
let's bring the
take
kids
to this. If it was a gay sex scene, the absolutely, like, horrible human being part of my brain would have loved that even more.
Oh, that would have been so funny, because you know there would be people dragging their kids out going, how very much down. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but I'm glad I did it.
Yes.
And you know what? Neither do I. But no, funny thing that I did not realize until it was pointed out to me in the Variety article where I got this thing about it not releasing in the Middle East from. Mm-hmm. It is the first R-rated gay rom-com made by a major studio.
Huh.
It's one of those things where it sounds unbelievable, but then you start trying to rack your brain for another one made by one of the big five. Think about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you would think, because it seems like an easy thing.
Except for all the markets you can't release it in.
Fair enough.
It's one of those things where it sounds like it can't be possible until you realize, oh right, gay R-rated rom-com. No wonder no other studio has made this before. The R rating means you can't get teenagers in to see it, and the gay rom-com bit means it's not releasing in a bunch of different territories.
True.
So you either gotta have a really, really good movie that's gonna make a bunch of money domestically and in the territories that will let it out, or you just gotta not give a damn. We'll see which one this is. Based on what's been shown, I have a feeling this one is kind of in the not give a damn territory. That's right. That's one of the movies coming out this weekend. Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's either that or Smile. And I'll level with you, I might go see Smile, but I am definitely more interested in Bros than Smile. I don't blame you. I just have to stick to my horror guns. That's completely fair. It is that time of year. I did not get to go see Pearl last night, and that makes me sad.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna go see it at 1:05 in the afternoon, and then I roll up at 1:03, and that showtime doesn't exist anymore.
I wonder what happened there.
So then I got a ticket for 10:45 because it wasn't gonna cost me anything anyway, but then as I got closer to 10:45, because it was the only remaining showtime, I was just like, I'm tired and I'm not going anywhere. So that's why I didn't see Pearl. Hopefully I will get the chance. But that's not what this is about. I'm just stalling for time. I'm stalling for trailer time.
Trailer time.
You like what I did there?
Oh. Okay, fair play.
Because if you like what I did there, make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe.
Oh my god.
I'm experimenting with the format. I want to see what happens if I say that in the middle of the video instead of at the very end. But also say it at the very end.
That's fair, but you just caught me completely off guard.
Great. So I smash your expectations like everybody else should. Smash that motherfucking like button!
Oh, I thought I would be able to do it in unison with you, but you went even harder than I did.
So, what do you think we should start with?
So, funnily enough, 2 of the things on here I actually saw in front of Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah, I did not expect that, but I was very pleased.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, this saves me some time. I still don't understand why they changed the name of Pray for the Devil.
Wait, what was it before?
It was The Devil's Light. There were trailers for the movie calling it The Devil's Light.
Okay, you know what? It was a thing, like, when I saw it in front of seeing Don't Worry, Darling, I was like, I know this movie's happening, because I know I've seen clips of this before, but I still feel unfamiliar with it. That makes sense.
Yeah, I thought I was crazy, because when I first started seeing trailers for it again, after whenever it had the name change, I thought I was going nuts, because it's like, no, this movie was called The Devil's Light, wasn't it? What? But then why is it... Huh? And then I looked it up. Yeah, they changed the name, and I still can't figure out why you would do that.
Especially in the middle of the marketing campaign.
Because then you gotta draw up all new posters, and you gotta rebrand the trailers, and then you got a bunch of people like me who are pedantically mocking you for this decision.
It is a strange decision.
It just seems stressful. Why would anybody bother?
It is a strange decision, though.
Otherwise, this does not look scary.
No, it doesn't. It looks... I mean, I guess it looks kind of anxiety-inducing, but it's definitely not scary.
The scariest thing about it is the patriarchy.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The papal patriarchy.
Yeah, for this trailer, it does definitely feel... It feels somehow makes the movie less interesting compared to the first original trailer for it.
Yeah, and I
remember that.
Don't know how.
Yeah, that's impressive. And
I'm still probably gonna go see it because I think it's the most interesting movie for me, at least, that weekend. It might be going up against Till, which makes me feel sad just looking at it, and I'm sad enough.
I'm probably gonna lean towards Till myself.
No, that's fair. That is no, wait, Till's the same weekend as... No, that's the limited release as Halloween Ends. Yep, wide release is Pray for the Devil.
Okay, if it's Halloween Ends or Till, I'm definitely picking Till, just gonna be honest.
It's probably Pray for the Devil or Till, because that's when the wide release happens. But yeah, good thing there's not many weeks left, because they need to stop doing trailers for this one. This did not sell me on anything.
No, it did not. Meanwhile, the back of my brain is going, watch them, change the name of it again right the week before the movie comes out.
One more time. They just call it, what, Lady Exorcist or something?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Meanwhile, we also got a trailer in front of Don't Worry, Darling for Knock at the Cabin.
I am more interested in this than I feel like I should ever be interested in an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Starring Dave Bautista.
And honestly, it's because Dave Bautista's in it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, he looks like he's good in this. It's just really funny to me, and as soon as I saw M. Night Shyamalan's name in front of it, I laughed.
Yeah, no. Especially because it is... I know that we sometimes give trailers crap for revealing too much of the story in the trailer, but in this particular case, it really was like the most on-brand trailer for this man, because it was just like, we are here to stop the apocalypse, and you have to make a terrible decision. It's like, all right, I'm kind of into this because Dave Bautista's like being a doomsdayer, but I still need significantly more context than this, guys.
Now, see, what it's gonna be, because there's always a twist, what there's gonna be for the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong twist is that I did not expect to have to do a laugh break there, but okay. Very good. I predict the twist is going to be, oh no! Whatever they were supposed to do really was necessary to stop the apocalypse.
Oh, so the ready or not method.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Okay.
Otherwise, I thought this one was actually decent.
Yeah, like I said, it definitely looks interesting.
It's a good suspense builder if it just... Shyamalan's name does not inspire confidence.
No, this is kind of... It is unfortunate. I feel like if they did an After Earth and just left his name out of it until the end of the movie, it would probably be much more of a grabber.
Yeah. I forget what I thought of Old, but I don't want to have to rewatch Old to figure it out. So I won't.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
We got an official trailer for Strange World.
And then talking about trailers that reveal too much about the story.
Yeah, this one's... Why are all the real villains of Disney movies lately just shitty parenting?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you there. It felt like the whole thing of like when he's like, you got me a machete for my birthday. It's like, yeah, it was amazing. I was too. It's like, all right, we know Black Widow was really cool, but goddamn.
Settle down, David Harbour.
Yeah, like that's like what it reminded me of, was just during like the whole like bonding scenes in Black Widow.
Being reminded of Black Widow is not the best sign.
I mean, I need to stop using the word interested. I need to think of something else.
It's piqued your curiosity?
It has piqued my curiosity.
I did not realize that one of the other characters was his son until they started talking about grandfather, because like they don't look all that different in age.
No, not really.
Like, you look at Jake Gyllenhaal's character and Yeager, I think. Yeager? Liger Zero Yeager. And you could tell they're different generations. But
yeah,
Jake Gyllenhaal and his son, all I can think is just, you guys look like maybe, I don't know, 10 years apart?
Yeah, they look like they could just be, like, really, like, long separated by time siblings.
Yeah. So, one thing that does confuse me, why is the president going with them?
Because she can?
I guess. It just seems like a bad call.
Oh, it's an extremely bad call, but...
Unless maybe you get to be the president in this universe by being the biggest badass ever to badass. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
It certainly looks pretty.
It looks gorgeous. I do love the color palette for it. It looks very pretty, and especially like with like all like the creatures and like other aspects of the world they're in. It's at least very visually appealing. So definitely props for that.
The real question is, how marketable is Splat gonna turn out to be?
When I saw that, it was like, oh, there's the toy.
There's the
toy
Morris.
right there. Yeah.
There's the Groot.
There's the weird duck, guinea pig, whatever things from Star Wars.
There's Tuk Tuk.
Tuk Tuk.
That's not the thing from Star Wars. That's the thing from Raya and the Last Dragon. The things from Star Wars are called porgs.
Okay, thank you.
There's that capybara in Encanto that doesn't do anything in the movie, really, but is still part of all the marketing for some reason.
Right.
That was weird.
That was very strange.
Speaking of strange, but not Strange World, because we just did. Among the Living.
So, as I'm watching this trailer, I'm like, alright, I know this is really B-movie-esque, and then it got to the final bit where it's like, comes out October 4th, Blu-ray release a month later. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Although it's one of those things where, in a certain way, it's also kind of cool, because I was like, okay, so is this like indie horror movie? Because if that's the case, it's like, okay, that's kind of neat. But seeing that like back to back doesn't exactly inspire confidence either.
I think the worst thing about it is that janky ass camera.
Yeah.
Because I saw that, and I genuinely thought there was something wrong with my internet connection. Turns out, apparently not.
Yeah, no, that was strange. The way that the way that the trailer was like presented and all the things that were like showing up, it kind of felt like it was trying to be a mix of The Last of Us and A Quiet Place, and didn't really get it right on either front.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like almost every zombie movie I've seen before, in the sense of, oh, the real hell is other people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except I can't even follow half of it, because again, janky-ass camera.
Right.
And I don't know if that's supposed to be a stylistic choice that's completely intentional, or just somebody doesn't know how to operate a camera.
A bit of column A, column B.
Yeah, we'll find out. Which leaves one final trailer for trailer time. The Loneliest Boy in the World.
This might actually be the most unethical trailer I have ever seen.
Really?
No, just because of the subject matter of the movie.
You know, when you put it like that, that's a fair point. I was racking my brains going, really? You think Impractical Jokers is more ethical than this? But...
Ethics textbook? What's that? It's like, it's not even a thing of like toss out of the trash. It's like, you toss in the dumpster, set it on fire, and then threw it at somebody's like oak tree in their front yard.
This book won't stop me because I can't read.
This book won't stop me because I need friends.
I know this defies the law of gravity, but you see, I never studied law.
Or gravity.
Or nature.
Or ethics.
Clearly not.
I'm more into this than I feel like I should be. Premise aside, it does look... I don't think it looks good, but it does look goofy and adorable.
Yeah. It's almost Henry Selick-esque. For reference, he did Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
It's got that same sort of... how absolutely fucked up, but how strangely whimsical.
Yeah.
Also, James the Giant Peach.
Also... Oh, wow.
Yep.
Well, for me, it's the combination of how fucked up it is, but not only how whimsical it all is, but how everyone's just kind of like, yeah, this is fucked up, but we love each other.
We're back from the dead, it's fine.
Yeah, everything's cool. It's like, I have so many questions. Especially the bit where the surrogate zombie mom goes, honey, I might be dead, but I'm not stupid. I have multiple problems with that sentence.
Or when he accidentally knocks his surrogate sister's head off.
Also that. And that was one of those things where, why is there even a slight part of my brain that's going, this is kind of cute, because this is really fucked up.
Yeah, this should not be funny or charming, and yet,
yeah,
here we are.
I definitely, yeah, this one's definitely piqued my curiosity a bit. I probably do lean a little bit towards seeing it in theaters.
Nice. Same, hopefully we get the chance. I don't remember if this one's wide release or not. It might be limited. So I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
Which, before we get into the review, just leaves this weekend's box office.
Alrighty.
On this episode of Did We See the highest grossing movie of the weekend domestically? Yes, we did.
Finally.
Because Don't Worry Darling took it with a $19.2 million domestic weekend in total for $30 million worldwide. Second place was The Woman King, with $11.1 million domestically for a $36.299 million domestic total, and $37.599 million worldwide. Third place, the Avatar re-release, which took in $10 million domestically, and made $30.5 million worldwide, so that actually did better this weekend worldwide than Don't Worry Darling. Fourth place, Barbarian, with $4.8 million domestically for a $28.4 million domestic total and $29.9 million worldwide. And in fifth place, Pearl, which still does not seem to have gotten an international release, but pulled down $1.9 million this weekend for $6.65 million total.
Is this the first week in, 4 months that Maverick isn't in the top 5?
No, I don't think it was in last week either.
Okay, I was gonna say, it just occurred to me, it's like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure I bamboozled you with that last week and made you think it was Top Gun Maverick, when in actuality it was not.
Okay.
But now I'm gonna check, because now I'm not sure. One moment.
Fair enough.
And if you want to know, and you want to know in advance, just rewatch the episode. It's good for metrics.
Yes.
I think. I don't have enough metrics to know. Help a guy out.
Help a brother out.
I'm glad you said it, so I didn't have to. Yeah, no, Top Gun Maverick did not make it into the top 5 domestically last weekend.
Alright, cool.
Maybe now you'll be able to get it on Blu-ray soon.
Oh, here's to hoping.
I gotta get Love and Thunder. I know I complained about this last weekend, but I'm still gonna complain about it anyway. God damn it.
See, now, I would say you don't have to, but at this moment,
you know
I can...
that's fake.
Well, it's also a thing of, I can't argue that anymore, considering literally my PS2 collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I no longer have the right to, make that argument.
Mr. Video Game Collector.
Don't remind me, man.
I say with my Night Trap for the Switch.
You say with your Persona games for PSP.
I say with my Persona 5 Royal Phantom Thieves Edition.
To be fair, that does look cool, though.
It is so sick! And I like having it so much, it makes me feel good to have.
And also, once again, can't talk because $110 Ace Combat art book in my
collection. Right, that is a thing.
Yes, it is. And it was one of those things where it's like, I don't care. I am never seeing this again. I am going to buy this.
Fair. So I think we're good to talk about Olivia Wilde's second film, Don't Worry, Darling.
Mm-hmm.
Booksmart was better.
To be fair, that's a high bar.
It's a high bar to clear, I'm just saying.
Oh,
Booksmart
yeah.
was clearly the superior film.
Oh, no contest whatsoever.
Should we tell people a hopefully non-spoiler breakdown of what the movie was?
Yeah, a quick premise of the whole thing.
Yeah, you want to take it this time?
I can attempt to.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see where this goes. Hit me with it. You can't see it, but I'm sitting back in a reclining armchair with a bubble pipe, very good.
Okay. So, the basic premise of the movie is that it's set in the 1950s, and the main characters are Florence Pugh. I can never figure out if I'm actually saying her last name correctly.
I'm pretty sure it's Pugh.
Okay.
But what the fuck do I know?
No, it's fine. We fixed it. We have the technology, or something. Florence Pugh and Harry Styles play the main couple in this 1950s-ass paradise in the middle of the desert type of situation. It's them and a whole bunch of their neighbors all living this life in this artificial paradise, completely separated from the rest of society, in order to prove, at least this is what I was trying to get out of it, that they are better than the rest of society by having their own little world. Of course, as the movie progresses, we are dropped small hints with Florence Pugh that not everything is as it seems.
Okay, it is Pugh. I just looked it up. I'm real happy for you, and I'm gonna let you finish, but it is pronounced Pugh.
I'm pretty much finished, because the thing about this movie is that there's no way to really go more into the setup of it without really spoiling anything, because in my opinion, the main initial setup of it is there's not really a lot to it. There's not really a lot going on in the whole 1950s-esque side of things.
Well, you know how it goes. You can't make an omelet without breaking a dozen eggs and finding out that they're all empty.
That was weird. That was kind of a thing of as that was happening, it's okay, so is this another hallucination, or is this just straight up a fake-ass egg? Given what's talked about in the movie in regards to this artificial paradise, either one is equally likely.
Yeah, that is true. We'll get more into that in spoilers, but I just felt like making an omelet joke.
Fair. Well, what do you have to talk about it?
Florence Pugh is great. Harry Styles is doing his best.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Pine makes a great villain, and I don't think that's a spoiler to say.
No, because it's telegraphed, like, immediately.
And this movie is rife with unfortunate implications.
But, yeah.
And I don't just mean the blatant textual unfortunate implications. I mean, there are some marks missed on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll get into more later on when we're free to talk details. But aesthetically, it's fine. Aesthetically, it's pretty cool.
Aesthetically, it's really cool. Given, like, the whole setup and everything, it's kind of got me in the thought process of, like, okay, immediately falling, especially with the whole area being called Project Victory. It's like, okay, this is, like, an immediate red flag, but also post-World War II, like, we've won, and now we're using all of our resources as a superpower to, like, create this new utopia. My initial thought process with the whole thing was, like, these are all government employees, and they're trying to, like, build a thing for the government. Boy, howdy, was I wrong, but we'll get into that.
All I can think is, oh man, we won World War II, and we are now one of the preeminent superpowers of the planet. What do we do now? Gelatin mold!
And the thing is with that, too, is that when I found out what was actually going on, I was actually immediately disappointed because I liked my idea much more.
I'm trying not to judge it against what I thought was going on because that's not necessarily a fair way to judge the movie, and because the more I think about it, the more I realize every idea of what this could have been was going to bump up against some kind of logistical issue.
Fair.
Granted, this way does not make a lick of sense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't gonna make a lick of sense any which way you looked at it.
True.
At least I don't think.
Yeah. If there is anything I have to give props for, they either got some really great recreations or found some people who keep really good care of all these 1950s cars, because this is the kind of stuff I pay attention to. Initially, I thought they were just, like, reproductions or whatever, because a few of the cars that are shown are actually very valuable cars. But then as I'm watching and I see the way the body, like, horrendously leans over and turns, I was like, holy shit, these are the actual cars, and they are pristine. Good job, whoever's job it is to source cars. You did a good job here. I do actually think the aesthetics of the movie overall are really cool, because both the 1950s aesthetic is neat, but also how they use aesthetics to telegraph some of the horror-esque stuff I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
A little confusing, but definitely, like, very neat.
Mine are not a spoiler thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Harry Styles was in One Direction. So,
yes,
he's a former boy band member. Why is his dancing so bad?
See, I really liked that scene because of how bad it was, because it was also, like, the first, in my opinion, real telegraph of, oh, there's something else going on here, isn't it? Because of how distinctly horrible it is. Even his face during the whole thing, he's just like, I guess I'm just, like, going along with this.
He's just flailing along like a performing chimpanzee.
Yeah, I feel like if it's possible to ad-lib dancing, that was what was going on there.
Oh, you can 100% ad-lib dancing. Yeah, no, that's entirely possible. I'm glad to see that my own limited knowledge of dancing, which is to flail around looking like you're constantly about to fall over, pans out perfectly in the 50s, apparently. I guess I was just born in the wrong decade.
I would say in my particular case, I am definitely born in the correct decade, because the 50s, and not exactly the greatest time for me.
Nah. And I feel like the dance has more to it in stuff that we will talk about in spoilers, but gosh, it was just so... And it went on for so long!
It went on for freaking ever.
Well, there's a much more compelling plot happening in the other room. But, nope, let's just watch Harry Styles spin around in place 5 times while Chris Pine is like, woo, look at him go!
Yeah, there was a thing of like, alright, this isn't even the B plot. This is like the F plot, and we're trying to make this the A plot. It's like, no, the A plot is much more compelling and interesting than whatever the hell this is right now.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm racking my brains trying to figure out if there's anything else I could think of that's not a huge spoiler.
I mean, I don't really have anything else. The only thing I was going to say as far as closing overall thoughts was, I will definitely say I enjoyed this movie much more than I thought I was going to, but I also don't really think I would recommend it either.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's probably worth seeing the one time. I don't know if I'd ever really watch it again.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't intend this as a knock against the movie, because absolutely a film that comes up with an original concept should be lauded, but if a movie does not manage to come up with a completely original concept, that shouldn't be a mark against the movie. Mm-hmm. Unless it's very shittily executed in addition to being unoriginal, because the truth of the matter is, very little is original at this point. So,
yeah.
That was a long walk for a short drink of water, and the thing I was ramping up to was, it's a little bit WandaVision, it's a little bit Black Mirror, it's a little bit Ready or Not, is how I would describe it.
And I can definitely see elements of all of those in that movie, so I would say that's an apt description.
And if nothing else, saying it's a little bit WandaVision is even funnier, considering we've got Yelena Belova, Cersei, Eros, and Norm from WandaVision himself. Yeah, Peter, his actor Asif Ali, is Norm, Vision's friend in Westview.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was him. The guy who did the really good job of the creepy acting when he starts freaking out when Vision lets him out of Wanda's control, and then when Vision puts him back under, immediately adopts the most unnerving smile you've ever seen and just goes back to making dumb sitcom jokes. That's the guy.
That's good acting.
That was really good. He didn't really get anything like that in this, I'll tell you that.
No, absolutely not.
It just kind of feels like, oh no, he's found himself in another fictional sitcom-y small town America thing. Norm, get out of there. So with that being said, if you don't want to be spoiled on this movie, click away now, because you're going to get spoiled in 3, 2, 1. And then they were in the Matrix.
The ending sucked.
I don't necessarily have a problem with the ending. I have a problem with the twist, because as I said, it strains credibility, although admittedly most explanations for what was going on at that point would have needed to strain credibility. But the ending I'm fine with. I remember at first I was a little bit annoyed that they don't show her waking up, but then I realized, well, if you show her waking up, you've got to address how have her muscles not atrophied? What is she going to do with her boyfriend's dead body lying right next to her? And these are all questions that I'm asking anyway, but they would be 100% unavoidable if they showed her waking up.
I mean, I think I disliked the ending because none of that was explored, and in addition to, also, there are several things that are opened up, like, before that even happens. Like, we see Chris Pine get murdered by his wife, and she goes, okay, now it's my turn.
Yeah, what was that? Are they trying to sequel bait?
Yeah, and it was a thing of like, okay, so where is this going? What happens to Bunny now that she's like revealed like what's going on? Because we also see all the men freaking out as Florence Pugh drives away, so because they also are very aware that this is all fake. So it's like, alright, there are clearly some consequences at play here. What are those consequences? And it's like, title card.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like there's only so much Alice could do to shut down the project, because it's not like she knows where anybody else is. Yeah, she has the equipment, but maybe they don't have a way to disconnect it from their servers, or maybe they do. Although that poses the question, was Gemma Chan in on it? I guess she'd have to have been with how she snapped out of it.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
It seems less, oh, what have you done to me, you sick, twisted son of a bitch, and more, oh, you fucking idiot, you couldn't keep this together, and it was the easiest thing in the world. Which, no, it's not! What a ridiculously complicated setup.
I was going to say, kind of to like, work off of that, my question was going to be, okay, how did Harry Styles in the real world How did he get those devices on Florence Pugh without her waking up or noticing or anything like that? I don't know. I don't know if the woman's just, or if her character is just in the heaviest sleeper in existence. But that was kind of like my main thing, where when it shows that she's actually in a simulation and there are these devices on her eyes that keep her in the simulation, my first question was, how? I want to know how this part happened.
Yeah, I don't... He might have drugged her or something.
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, if he's enough of a dick to entrap her in a perpetual 50s house Stepford Wives situation, I certainly wouldn't put that past him.
I was gonna say as well, like, in regards to that, like, the plot twist I was not expecting with this movie was crazy-ass incel basically, like, kidnaps wife in fake fantasy land. That was not what I expected.
Nah. I didn't expect that. I thought it was a mind control experiment project.
So what I was thinking was that this whole 1950s thing was the actual setting, and there's some Manhattan Project type shit going on, but leftovers from that are actually, like, getting to the people, and that's what's causing the hallucinations. It goes back to what you said, though, where anything else, especially something like that, would have needed much more logistics, and probably would have been much harder to, like, pull off convincingly.
Yeah. I don't know, this... When I say this film is rife with unfortunate implications, first of all, and I want to make this a thing, but it's an inevitable observation that raises some points. The one person who gets removed from the simulation before Alice is the one black actress in this whole thing, who also mentioned that a lot of her scenes got cut.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting.
And for as much as the movie is making commentary about misogyny and gender roles and what have you, and don't get me wrong, always attack misogyny head on. It sucks. Don't endorse it, don't condone it, call it out.
Exactly.
But it's really tone deaf about all the other things that it's stepping around.
One of the things that did grab my attention in a certain degree to that was, like, kind of the makeup of a lot of the couples in the movie, because my thought process was, wow, this is a very progressive 1950s with some of these family setups. And that was honestly one of my first clues where it's like, okay, I don't think this is actually happening. As absolutely messed up as that sounds.
The most disturbing thing I think about the whole thing is when they're showing how Jack got them involved in that. One of the questions is relationship pre-existing. That'll make it easier. That implies that they set up the simulation for men and women who don't have a pre-existing relationship, which implies they are just doing this for straight-up kidnappers.
Yeah. I feel like regardless of if there is a relationship or not, the nature of this whole, like, experiment or whatever is, like, kidnapping.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, it's reprehensible either way, but it's just that one thing really sells how just skeevy this whole thing is.
Yeah. It was also kind of a thing as well of, in a certain degree, it's, even though I still hate it, I do like how much they set up how skeevy it is, because when they show, like, him making his profile, and it's like, oh, I want to be British, where's that coming from? Oh, there's a huge-ass James Bond poster on his left side. And then, I think, like, if I remember right, in one of the scenes where we're looking at the computer, he has, like, 4chan or something pulled up. And that was the thing, it was like, oh, okay, alright, I think I see where we're going with this guy. I have to give the makeup department props for making Harry Styles look as horrible as he does in the real world.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a different actor at first.
Oh, same, because it's a thing of, like, I haven't seen a lot of his works, and I definitely didn't listen to any of his music, but it's like, I've seen pictures of him, it's like, this is not a bad-looking dude at all, so props to these people for, like, just making him look absolutely god-awful.
Yeah, and also just making him an utterly reprehensible human being.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that...
Expecting Florence Pugh to make dinner after she's been at work for 30 fucking hours.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, is it eye-rolling and over the top? Yes. Are there people with this level of entitlement? 100%. Ergo, fine with it.
Yeah, with this level of entitlement and lack of empathy or situational awareness. Like, absolutely. Let's see, what else was there?
I found a rather unfortunate quote from Olivia Wilde regarding the sex scenes in this movie, because it's being framed as some triumphant bit, and it's, apologies for the explicit content, but, no I don't. I don't know why I'm drawing the line here when I drop F-bombs left and right. Who gives a fuck?
Well, also considering the movie we're talking about as well.
Also considering the movie. The quote is, "Men don't come in this film. Only women here."
I remember you telling me about that, and I kind of figured it was supposed to be a reverse of kind of the social expectation of movies during this period, because I think at the time, like, showing, like, a female enjoying sex in a movie was considered, like, super taboo.
Oh, no. I'll agree to that. And to further continue from the same article, she says, "Female pleasure, the best versions of it that you see nowadays are in queer films. Why are we more comfortable with female pleasure when it's two women on film? In hetero sex scenes in film, the focus on men as the recipients of pleasure is almost ubiquitous." And that is a fair point, and I understand wanting to change that. But when all the sex scenes in the movie are subservient to this disgusting, gross-ass power fantasy, that is not the feather in your cap that you seem to think it is.
Yeah, because ultimately it's just gross as hell. It's like, yeah, it's showing their pleasure, but the thing is that it's being granted and given to the absolutely deplorable human beings that put these women here in the first place.
Yeah, it's one of those forests to the trees, hooray, I guess is... I can't... And fuck. The worst part is I feel like in talking about this, I feel like one of those people who complains about She-Hulk for all the wrong reasons. But it feels performative.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad conclusion to come to, because it kind of is a little bit, in all honesty.
It's one of those things where it just feels like one of those things where it's like, the movie would have been not better without those, but your reasoning for including them seems backwards.
Yeah.
Especially when you take it with stuff like Kiki Lane, the actress who played Margaret, getting most of her scenes cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, yeah, okay, feminism is important, very good, but you're kind of also stepping all over the message to get there.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing of, like, in your efforts to, like, convey an ultimately, like, positive message that I would 100% get around, you're kind of also taking a dump on it at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like we see what you're going for, but you're doing more work than you need to, and it actually ends up hurting it at the end.
It is at odds with the material you're trying to convey.
Mm-hmm.
Functionally.
Mm.
It's kind of like Wonder Woman 84, and I don't know why I almost said implicit non-consensual sex, because it is entirely explicit that the guy whose body Steve Trevor is in cannot consent to the hanky-panky he and Diana get up to.
Yeah.
And yet this is not addressed.
At all.
One of the greatest heroes in the world, everybody.
Mm.
And then they try to spin it into, oh, maybe she'll end up with this guy now. It's no! No, absolutely not!
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's the exact same thing as if somebody presents themselves as, I don't know, a movie star or something, and then it turns out they're not. It's like, oh, but he's so charming. And it was like, no! This whole thing was built on false pretenses.
Yeah.
How dare you? Anyways, I don't want to get into Wonder Woman 84 rant. That was just the easiest comparison I could think of to the problem I have with Don't Worry, Darling.
Mm.
And yet I say that, and yet, somehow, it doesn't feel damning. And all I can say is it's just, I like the setup and I appreciate what it was trying to do. It's just not especially great at it.
there is a good movie here. Like, undoubtedly, I think there's a very good movie here, but in trying to make the journeys to the other things it's trying to get to, it also just takes away from the final product.
Yeah.
The only two final thoughts that I have on the movie or three thoughts, is A, there's a car chase in this movie, and it has the most Looney Tunes ass conclusion I've ever seen.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I don't like the car chase.
No, I didn't like the car chase either, because it's like, especially like with the crash that happens, it's like, you're in the middle of a desert. You can go so many different directions, and you just have a Looney Tunes-esque head-on with two other cars. I'm like, what? Also, those cars should not have all been able to keep up with a late model first generation Corvette. Yes, this is me talking about cars, but holy shit that actually bothered me.
I feel like the bigger issue, and I'll admit, I'm a lot more comfortable getting into... What is it? I'm much more comfortable making fun of something for obvious logical fallacies rather than subtextual implications. But this whole thing is a simulation that presumably Frank created and has control over.
Right.
And yet the best option to stop her from getting out is, when she's driving towards the exit, is have everybody pile in cars and drive after her? You can't disengage from the simulation, make obstacles, close the exit?
Yeah, that was kind of... Especially because at that point they know what's going on. It also, kind of working with that, when the whole thing, when it's revealed that if the man dies in the simulation, they die in real life. And so now it's like, you have to get out of here because now they're going to come for your real life body and kill you. It's like, so why the fuck are they chasing her in the simulation then?
Presumably to stop her from getting to her body and disengaging her restraints and getting out on her own before they can get to her. I'll give them that part. That part tracks at least a little bit. And also, potentially, there's an implication that probably she would have died too if they'd caught her, because they could have... It was presumably, if they caught her and killed her in the simulation, she would also die, and then they would just send people to get rid of her body because they should know where she is, because presumably they have Jack's information.
I mean, I kind of hope that's what it was trying to get at, because otherwise the way it was worded was a bit confusing. Because
it was not conveyed great.
Yeah, it sounded like a thing of like, but the only way they can stop you is if they kill you in the real world. It's like, but he just died in the simulation from getting a glass smacked on his head. Just do the same thing. As morbid as that sounds.
Yeah, just hit her with a hubcap or something.
Yeah.
I now have a vision in my head of she's getting ready to get in the car and then somebody just hits her over the head with a tire iron. And it shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Ending song from Seinfeld starts playing.
And I say that as somebody who was absolutely rooting for her to get out. But
oh yeah, say.
Honestly, I feel like my bigger problem is in this psychological thriller that, for the most part, is a lot of talking. I feel like the car chase was completely unnecessary. And it felt like a studio note of, we need a big action set piece. And no, you don't. And even if you did, this is the stupidest way to go about it.
I agree with you, because the entire time, as the car chase scene happened, I was like, okay, so why exactly is this here?
Yeah. And I think it also serves as a very good illustration of that underlying issue of the movie is not conveying what it attempts to convey effectively. Still decently fun to watch, though.
Yeah. I still stand by what I said. It's like, I don't know if I would necessarily recommend this. I definitely wouldn't go out of my way to see it again. But I did have a better time with it than I was anticipating. And I think that's a worthy accolade in of its own right.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it again at some point in a couple of years or something. It's not quite horror, so I couldn't really justify doing that during a Halloween, but...
Yeah, it's definitely much more on the thriller side.
Yeah. But I'd probably watch it again at some point in a few years or something. And I still think, worth watching the one time.
Yeah.
Just don't expect anything huge out of it.
Yeah, no, this movie doesn't exactly break new ground or anything like that.
As I said, book smart better. So I think that about wraps this up.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thanks for bearing with my mid-episode plug, and if I may indulge again, like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Spotify and RSS and all that good stuff. And also make sure to check out Poorly Explained Comics, my new side series of little short videos. They're gonna get better, hopefully. Someday I'll figure out how to thumbnail. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the thumbnail for this one yet. It is atrocious.
I'll look at it real fast. I have seen much worse. Like,
wow.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's the worst one I've ever seen, and I made it, so...
No, I'm like, in the entire time that I've, like, used YouTube, I have seen many, many worse thumbnails. Granted, I'm also, like, predisposed to hate the thumbnails for, like, gaming videos that are all, like, bright colors and crazy-ass YouTube faces.
And red arrows and circles around things, and everybody's got giant eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to avoid the heck out of that, but I don't know what else to do. Hence where we're at now. But anyways, the point is... Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been another episode of Under the Bridge with Cody, a.k.a. the Starlet Troll.
And Greg, a.k.a. Greg.
And next week, probably either we both see Bros, or Greg sees Bros and I see Smile.
Oh, yeah, I mean, of the two, I'm absolutely gonna go see Bros.
Yeah, so I guess we'll figure out whether we're talking about two different movies or not when we get to it. But for now, bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.